going to pay maintenance because I'm going to pay for anything that goes wrong with the property. I'm confident that things aren't going to go wrong with the properties because we've just spent a lot of money rehabbing the properties and making them rent ready for the tenants. If there's a capital event, which would be roofs or furnaces, we're going to split those expenses 50-50. Since I've been doing this program, I haven't had any capital events because we plan for those and replace those items when we're rehabbing the houses. But the reason we put this clause in there is to protect both of us. If the roof is still good, but it's 5 years later and we're getting ready to sell the house, if I was just paying for the roof, you'd tell me to put a new one on. If you were paying for the roof, I would tell you to put a new one on, right? So we split those expenses 50-50 if they ever happen so that we don't cause unnecessary repairs. You never pay a management fee because I'm your tenant and you don't have to pay me to manage myself. I think that's a pretty good plan. Which gives you a guaranteed rent every month. Whether the property is occupied or not, I'm going to pay you your house payment every month. Does that sound like a good deal? All right. You have a minimum down payment. Because we're using a Fannie Mae program, most of you will qualify for a 90% loan, which means you only have to put 10% down. There aren't very many places now in the financing world that you can get a loan on a property with just 10% down. So that's a pretty minimum down payment. You've got a very high yielding return, which is going to pay you, depending on how much you do put down on the property, either 20 to 90%, which is a pretty good return on investment. Wouldn't you agree? Here's how it works. You buy one of my boring properties, and again, I'm going to lease it from you for your house payment the day after closing, with an option to purchase fee. Has anybody heard of a lease with an option to purchase? That's the way many people that have lost their homes buy houses. But it's also the way that I work with you. I'm going to lease the house with an option to purchase it in the future. My lease is for 5 years. My option to purchase fee is anywhere from 5 to 10%. Now, 5 to 10%, if you think about it, when you bought the house, if you bought a $100,000 home, you put $10,000 down and paid about $3,000 in closing costs, right? If this is a 10% option fee, you're getting back $10,000. So how much do you have invested in the property? Only about $3,500. Now, how many of you can buy a $120,000 home for $3,500? All of you can if you come to my booth later. See, wasn't that a trick question? Okay, so the option fee of 5 to 10% is going to give you back all of your money. So your investment is really very small in the property, and that's why I'm able to keep the cash flow. So we keep the cash flow. I think we're pretty excellent property managers. Did I tell you we already have 150 houses of our own, and we have 50 houses in this program? I think we're pretty good property managers. We pay you the option fee, which reduces the amount of money that you have to keep invested in the property, and then you keep all the rest of the benefits. You know, real estate pays us in a whole lot of different ways. It's just not cash flow every month. We're going to split the appreciation when we sell the house 50-50. That's why I've paid you an option fee. Does that sound pretty fair? You're going to keep the equity that builds up in the property from the mortgage pay down. When we make your house payment every month, part of it is principal and part of it is interest. Well, your principal is paid down a little bit every month. Over 5 years, that ends up being about $9,000 or $10,000. So that goes to you. You keep that piece. I keep the cash flow, and then you keep the depreciation. And if you're able to qualify for it, that's going to have a significant impact on your tax returns because that's money that you're going to make too. That sometimes can be your $100 or $200 a month cash flow. So that's how we share the wealth. Then we sell it to an owner-occupant. Are there any realtors in the room? Okay, sorry guys. But we sell it to an owner-occupant, to a tenant, so that we don't have to pay them. Because we want to keep that money in our pocket. And then we split the profits 50-50, and I think everybody wins. What do you think? Are we still awake out there? Let's hear a little cheering out there. Come on. Okay. That's a good program. So here's what the properties look like. They're anywhere from 3 years old to 100 years old because houses last more than 3 years, and at least in Ohio they do. They've been completely rehabbed to what we call the appropriate standard for the neighborhood. And what that means is if you're in an $80,000 house, there's probably not granite countertops, but there's probably not butcher block either. So we fix it up to what's appropriate for that price level of home. We address plumbing, electric, roof, windows, anything that's going to cost us money in the future, because our goal is not to go back in the house. Because if you're a landlord, the most pain besides trying to collect rent is fixing things when tenants live in the houses. And we don't want to do that. We want to fix everything in advance before you buy the house. They're currently occupied, which means I get cash flow right away, which really doesn't matter to you because I'm going to pay you no matter what. Property management, how can you believe that I can really do this? I wrote the book. It's called Landlording Without Losing Your Mind. I lost it right before, I wrote it right before I lost my mind. But what it does for you is it tells you that I know what I'm doing and I'm going to follow through with what I do, and it protects your asset. Because I screen my tenants very heavily, you don't have to worry that properties are going to be destroyed. Even though I have to pay for that, if they are destroyed, you're still concerned about those kind of things. And that's why it's important for safety issues and maintenance and management to have good property management. Why do I do this? My mom says that the best way to get rich is to help someone else get there. The second reason is because of return on investment. You know, if you're getting a 90% return on investment and you're making $20,000, guess how much I'm making? $20,000. So if you win, I win. If I don't win, you don't win. So we set it up so that we're both 50-50 partners in the deal pretty much. The third reason is because of Fannie Mae. And Fannie Mae is the underwriter for making loans for many investors. And what they say is that they'll do 90% loans for you. And they'll give you a fixed interest rate at about 6.5%. So they're able to give you much better loans than they give me. When I go to a bank and I tell them I have 150 houses, if they don't throw me out immediately, they start hissing and asking all kinds of evil questions. So it's a way for us to work together where we can help one another out. Finally, how do you qualify? You have to have a good credit score. You have to have the 10% to put down. You have to be able to pay your closing costs and keep that investment. You have to own less than 10 homes and be willing to be bored for 5 years and get fantastic returns on your investment. These are some examples of some homes that we have. This is 625 Greenwood Drive in Trenton. It is actually already sold, and if you're interested in the program, I encourage you to come and see us soon because we only have 9 houses to sell this weekend. We're also doing a mini seminar tomorrow morning at 8:30 and at 12 where we'll go through all of the documents that are in this program. 921 Charles is about 8 years old. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It sells for $149,000 and it has a 10% option fee. Teal Tree has a 5% option fee. Hickory View again has a 5% option fee. This is a very nice home. You can see they're nice houses. If you're interested in the properties and you buy 2 homes this weekend, we'll also fly you out to stay at our bed and breakfast for a weekend so you can see wonderful Ohio. I didn't get any takers on this in February, and I'm not really sure why. I think it might have been the snow. This is one of our customers, Jim Petruso from Ohio. He's actually an investor that's bought 9 properties from us, and he works for Delta Airlines. And his parents were in real estate. As a child, he helped his parents with landlording, but he couldn't be a landlord because as a pilot, he's gone all the time. And Jim has said that we have made investing very easy for him. And his name is also on our list of people that you can call and see if I do what I really say I'm going to do. This is our luxury bed and breakfast. Okay, those are before pictures. This is what it looked like before we started on it. This is what it looks like now. You can ask Danny. It really is a nice old home that will set you up to see and stay so you can see our marketplace. Finally, Share the Wealth is no vacancies, no management fees, no maintenance. We split capital repairs and we share the wealth. And I hope you will come and see us in a little while.